What happened?
I don't know what happened, but there's Alan Karl, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to go to a bedtime story, um,
Oh, okay.
but
So I
I'll
can
leave the
see
bed.
you, but but
I'll leave the bedtime story for later on. Now we can see each other. Here we go. Can you see me? No.
not yet. But there you are. All right.
I'll put myself back on there for you. How are you doing? I can't believe we got
I
through that.
Yeah, I am doing just fantastic. In celebration of the bedtime stories, I've poured myself a glass of vino. It's 5 o'clock here,
Yeah, well,
and that's official.
I've got my tea going here, because it's like 8 o'clock and it's time for bed, so it's hence
Like,
the bedtime
hey, it's from
stories.
the museum.
From
Love
from
that place.
they just closed it. They just
I
closed it.
know.
I know. It was yeah. This is one of my favorite mugs. Amanda studied journalism, and we went down to DC 2 years ago now, and just to see Newseum. It was an incredible
Yeah.
place. Man. Anyway, wow! I can't believe you're on the show. I'm so excited, and this is so cool. Folks, I do a lot of live shows. Anything can happen when you're live. This is just this is the way it goes. Nothing is post produced. It happens. So
Yeah.
let's move on. Tell the audience about this great book that you wrote, and what was your inspiration behind it? Because I admit I'm not all that smart. I took your idea and ran with it in a little different direction. But what was your inspiration behind this?
My inspiration, of course, I call it having a midlife crisis, an extreme route, because I hopped on that bike, and originally I was just going to go to Mexico or at the bottom of South America. But what started off as quit my job, go through a divorce, and then hop on the motorcycle, and what ended up 3 years around the world, including a broken leg in the middle of Bolivia, in the middle of nowhere on the Salar de Uyuni. I got home and I realized that a publisher was interested in my story, and basically like a travelogue, was looking to do an adventure, eat, pray, love for guys or something. And when I started writing it, I realized after cooking a meal of some local dishes that I'd learned about traveling through Brazil with some friends, they said, you really should add recipes to your book. And it was at that point the light went on, and I said to myself, wait a minute, that's a great idea. I don't want to just write about me and my trip and my trials and tribulations, because really what it's about, what for me, traveling by bike or just travel anyway, is about connecting with local people. It's about the food, and it's about celebrating their culture. So rather than write about me, I also am a photographer, and I said, I'm going to make a coffee table book, make it a hybrid, put the photos that I took from all over the world, including that great camel shot that you were showing, and recipes, and tell a story. So it's a way you could taste the food, you could read about the people and the places, and you could see them. So the only thing missing in that kind of thing would be sound. But it's like yours. You see the pictures, you read the story about the people, and certainly cook up the food.
It's a beautiful book, and I love the concept. I personally, I love to read people's travelogues and people's stories, and but I like it when there's a purpose behind them, an alternative purpose. So, and I tried to copy that, mimic your style in Sleeping Around in America. Again, I'm not genius. I just steal other people's great ideas and then make them. That's the way the world works. And so I'm actually talking to the guy whose idea I stole, and went in a
That's
somewhat
okay.
different
You know what?
direction. Mea culpa. But I think we both. I'm very proud of what I accomplished, and I can't wait for you to get your copy of it because I know it's on the way. Alan was also
Yes,
one of the original backers of Sleeping Around in America, which was really cool. So I
the
really appreciate
Kickstarter.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that was now the difference between your Kickstarter campaign and my Kickstarter campaign is you had completed the trip when you went on Kickstarter.
that's
Um,
right.
Mine was a bit more of a pipe dream at the time. So I mean, I figured if I had enough people just buy into this thing, then I would force me to go do it. Then I would have no choice but to actually publish it and get it going. So,
Yeah.
I probably didn't raise as much money as I could have that way had I done it post and it had already been completed and people would have more confidence. On the flip side, I'm still very happy that I went through that Kickstarter campaign. Was an amazing opportunity, and I still go ahead and I back other projects too on that. So you find some
Yeah,
really cool.
I do too. It's a great forum. You know, I mean, there's a lot of gadgets and doodads people sell, but it's those creative projects like your book, my book. You know, people that are doing, artwork or live theater that go to this Kickstarter is really what it's about. And yeah, and I love what you did. You know, the beauty of roadside motels is sadly fading in this homogenized Coca-Cola culture of. Of life where they're tearing down the old to put up the new, and it's great that there are those owners who you met on your trip, and they're the people that are supporting and staying in a smaller hotel as opposed to racking up their Marriott Bonvoy points and going somewhere. So I really appreciate that. Hey, I lost your video. I can't see you anymore, but I can hear you.
Oh, I don't know what happened there.
That's all right.
I'm not sure what happened there. Oh,
As long as the audience can see
no,
you.
there the audience can see me. There we go. Sorry, I must have clicked a button by accident. I was adulating in the praise that you were facing me, and then all of a sudden I must have just. I'm so sorry. Mea culpa again. I wanted to talk. I talked to you about you had you did your own video live stream this week, and you had a guest on from a buddy you met from South Africa. Tell me a little bit about how that went.
Yeah, so I met this guy, Ronnie Bergeron, and the replay for this webcast is available online, but we can send some links around. But he had been through even a tougher thing. He had just learned months before, maybe a month before I met him, that his wife was taking her two children, leaving South Africa, and divorcing him and taking them away from him to the United Kingdom, to England. And he bought a motorcycle in that thing to try to put the pieces of his life together. And I met him in Windhoek, Namibia, which is in the western part of Southern Africa. And we had a dinner one night, and then agreed that we would ride together. And he ended up, and he was a very didn't want to meet people. He was just in his own world, trying to get away from people because he was having this horrible loss. And I'm the kind of guy that stops every, 20 kilometers because I see somebody cool on the side of the road and I just want to talk to them, take their picture, have a chat, and, learn something. And, he's like, wow, I just want to ride this bike. But he learned how to slow down a little bit, as the cliche goes, to smell the roses. But what he also did by the end of that 2 weeks, because I kept going north to Sudan and Egypt and where that photo was taken. And he eventually had returned back to South Africa. But 2 years later, he decided that he was going to do a trip around the world as well. And this was his kind of awakening. And he said, Mike, like you were inspired by my book, he was inspired by my journey. He went around the world, 100 countries, 100,000 miles, much more than I did. Of course, he did go a lot faster than I did. I slowed down a lot. But he met in Bali. He's the really love guy. He met his love of his life in Bali, and he ended up marrying her after his journey was all over. Actually, he married her in the U.S. because she's American, and then eventually moved. So we talked about the places that he went, and it's good. I call it journeys, and adventure and discovery in the time of Corona, because that's where we are, and just to kind of get our wanderlust and our cabin fever an outlet. So I'm bringing in guests. I hope next Monday I have Jeremy Craker, a Canadian, motorcycle therapy, motorcycle messengers. He is likely going to be my guest next week. So I hope people here might be interested in tuning in.
Well,
we'll bring in.
Okay, so you went and stole my thunder because Jeremy's my guest on Sunday night show here. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You can here's the deal. You focus on Jeremy's because he's stuck in Uruguay right now, and
that's right.
So you deal on Jeremy. I really want to meet Elle, his girlfriend, who I think is going to kill him, and that's going to be the fun part of the story. But I've sort of teased him a little bit by saying, Jeremy, why don't you come on the show? But really, I really want to meet Elle. Let's see if we can find, because I think she wants to throttle him at this point because they're stuck in a one-room apartment down in Uruguay through this COVID crisis. Oh, let's talk about. I want to talk about something because I had mentioned at the beginning of the show, and I'm just going to put this up right now. I said I was going to give away a copy of my book, Sleeping Around in America. But I'm going to show something to the audience right now that I would like them to take a look at, and that is a recipe card that you've put together, and it's with Argentinian carne asado with chimichurri sauce, and
Jimmy.
chimichurri
Yeah.
sauce. I love that, and um, let's. I'm just going to bring both you and the image in together here, if I can, in a second. I keep on,
So high tech over
I
there.
tell you, when I'm switching at the same time and producing at this, I can host, I can produce, but doing both it together, not a great idea. And I'm so sorry, folks, but that's what makes it fun and raw. So anyway, yes, we've got this. I've got this recipe. You've got this recipe card here, and it's a beautiful recipe card that you're prepared to give away in conjunction
Yes.
with my giveaway. And all they have to do is go to subscribe to your YouTube channel. I'm putting that up right there. At World Rider, lowercase.
Yep.
Search for
Yep.
at
Yep.
World Rider.
YouTube.com/worldrider. Yeah. As you know, I hosted a TV show on the Travel Channel Cooking Channel,
Yeah.
and it was short-lived, because they got merged and all that. But there's so much video content and just crazy stuff that I post. Sometimes it's very short things, sometimes long things. You'll love it, or you'll get bored in some of the cases. But there's always something interesting, and so yes, subscribe to that, and you can have that. It's a 4-page PDF file with nice photo and a recipe that not only just works with the carne asada, but it works with eggs in the morning. You can use it with just about anything. I love the chimichurri sauce. Make a big batch at the beginning of the week. It lasts you through the next week.
That is awesome. So here's the deal. To get a copy of my book and Alan's recipe, go on to worldrider.com. Go on to YouTube. So go at World Rider. That's up right now. And subscribe to Alan's channel. And then subscribe to my channel, which is the Motelorcyclist, where you can find the content for all these great interviews. And then after that, what you do is just send me a quick email. And it's Andrew at motelorcycle.com. Go ahead, send me a quick email, and then I will send you a coupon and download for the PDF, as well as a download for the iBook as well. Alan, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And listen, I want to have a follow-up conversation with you. Okay, so let's do this again sometime real soon. Okay.
We need to. There's just so many stories. Hey, Drew, thank you so much. Good luck on the book. I love the live stream, and let me know how I can help you. And thanks again for all the shout outs.
Thanks so much, Alan. We'll talk soon. Okay. Cheers.
Yeah, you betcha.
So when I come back, I will be hosting with